Hi, beautiful people. Thank you for stopping by. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, in today's video,
I lost my job today because of Trump. And listen, I know that firing people is his favorite thing to do. And that's what we love in a leader, somebody who takes glee in firing people. That's somebody with integrity, correct? Correct. We love this. I got fired today when I was working on a project for a contract. This was a 2-year contract that the executive director reached out to me and said, hey, Noelle, I know you just got laid off. I have something. It's just a couple of hours a week, but we're looking to get someone that can help us with this program. We're getting women into trade jobs, and we just need them to be able to get the training and support that they need. We want to make sure that leaders have what they need to make sure that women feel included when they get into these roles. We want it to be as smooth as possible. I know that you can do it. Can you take this job? And it was just enough to keep me afloat and do something that makes an impact. And the Department of Labor said today that I had to stop working. I know that I'm going to have people in my comments that are thrilled that somebody like me who helps people with disabilities, who helps veterans, who helps pregnant women, who helps parents, who helps Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, I know that they are so gleeful that people like me get fired for helping others. I know that that makes their day. But that's what it is. And I'm so proud of the work that I've done. I am so proud of the legacy that I built with helping people that need that support and making sure that workplaces are the kind of places where they can get the support that they deserve and they need. And to see everything I worked for get ripped away is hard. Now, I know DEI has always evolved, and I talk about this all the time. I will figure out a path forward for myself, but I am so infuriated, and I hope the price of eggs is worth it to you people.
The fact that a lot of white women thought that DEI meant minority or Black people, that it didn't include them, is the funniest thing to me. Because white women are DEI hires majority of the time. They benefit from DEI initiatives. So the fact that you would vote against your own interests and then get upset that this is happening to you is just like hilarious to me. What do you mean you didn't realize that you were the diversity hire? Like, you're a woman and you think that you have an equal playing field in this game as a white man? The fact that we have this program set in place stops companies from discriminating against you based off your gender. So I just don't understand why you would think that, oh my God, I'm in the same playing field as a white man, because you never will be. You actively voted against your rights to appease white men, and you're going to pay the consequences for that. DEI does not just mean Black people. As a white woman, that also affects you.
Well, not how I wanted to start my 2025. I was just laid off. This is actually the first time I've ever been laid off, so I don't really know what to even do or how to process anything. I just dropped off my laptop. It sucks the most because I seriously was only at this company for 2 months. I literally got this job in October and loved every single second of it. Unfortunately, the company was acquired and a lot of us were let go. Nothing you can do about it, but it definitely sucks. I have no idea what I want to do. I don't know if I want to even keep working for a company or what. I got my real estate license back in early October. I'm like, maybe I should just pursue that. But I also really liked the idea of having like a stable income with a job. I'm also getting married this year and have lots of expenses. So yeah, I still know it's going to be a great year. Like, I'm truly trying to be positive. I know everything happens for a reason, but yeah, I guess we'll see what happens.
The real F around and find out moment is here. A lot of people are looking at the Black community thinking that we are the recipients and benefactors of DEI programs. And affirmative action programs. And I know affirmative action is no longer, but whenever they hear the term DEI or they hear the term affirmative action, they look to the Black community thinking that we are the benefactor. Now, here's some information for you. The number one recipient of DEI are white women. That is according to the U.S. Department of Labor. And others fall under that group, under the minority group, the ethnic minority. Number one recipient under that group are Latino and Hispanic Americans. Number two are Asian Americans. Number three are Native Americans. Number four, individuals with disability. Number five, veterans. Okay? And number six, the LGBTQ plus community. And guess who comes last at receiving DEI benefits? Guess who comes last? That's right. Black Americans. Black people. Let me also say, you can do a Google search and you will see the primary benefactors of DEI programs are not only white women, but white men, white male CEOs. Those are the ones who have benefited the most from DEI initiative programs.
You know what I noticed, that a lot of people who have a problem with DEI programs are because they want someone to blame for what they couldn't achieve. They rather blame someone else than to realize that they wasted every opportunity presented to them. My parents came to the US with nothing. They died and made me an orphan at 11 years old. And guess what? I still went to early college, high school. I was working 2 to 3 jobs during school to support myself financially and still got good grades all throughout school. Graduated from early college, high school, where I got my associates and my high school diploma at the same time. I got my bachelor's degree because I took as many classes as I could at once. And I was recognized for my academic achievement in undergrad. I was getting my bachelor's, I was working 1 job, interning somewhere, and commuting over an hour to my classes at night. Went to law school, graduated at 23 years old, and passed the bar the first time. I know so many people whose parents are from here. They were afforded every opportunity. They didn't have to work during school because their parents supported them. Still didn't do anything with those opportunities that they had. They still didn't do anything with the privilege that they had. And that is no one's fault but your own. So stop blaming people for doing what you could have done yourself. So if an orphan daughter of immigrants could do it, then so could you. Just know that I've earned my way into every room I've ever been in.
Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan resisting the urge or the push to roll back the DEI programs that they have for their companies is something that I'm so impressed by, because I hope a lot of these other financial institutions, they take note and follow their lead, because a lot of you guys don't realize that this just literally you signed your kid's life away. A lot of your kids won't even get hired by some of these companies because they have now eliminated DEI. I worked at Morgan Stanley for 11 years, and towards the very end of me being there, my manager at the time said I needed to do a little bit more outside of my day-to-day in order to get to the next level. And she voluntold me and said, you need to also join the recruiting team, the campus recruiting initiative. That is not my day job. I was just like, okay, I'll volunteer and do it for a few hours. However, she wanted me to be the DEI, the diversity lead. And I was like, okay, the school that I was assigned to was Fordham. It's an HR team specifically managing campus recruiting. However, that team is filled with a lot of white women. And I was just like, okay, well, how are we kind of reaching out to the diverse candidates at these schools? And they're like, oh, we kind of go through some of these organizations. And she gave me the fraternities and the sororities. The fraternities and the sororities were predominantly white. I'm not familiar with those fraternities and sororities because that's not my background. That's not my pedigree. So I'm like, okay, what other organizations? She's like, oh, there's some professional or some academia organizations. And I'm like, once again, these are predominantly white ones. So where are we getting the diversity candidates from? And that's when I was like, okay, well, I know of NABA. My background is tax, accounting. I was like, National Association of Black Accountants. You'll be able to find some of them there, the diverse talents as well. I also know a few sororities and fraternities. I was like, we will get a combination of all the Latin, Caribbean, the African American, all the different organizations at Fordham, and get the email addresses for their presidents, email their presidents, so that those students with a 4.0 GPA can come to our events. Also, Fordham is I think it's like a high commuter school. The HR rep, once again, she didn't go to a commuter school. She went to, a PWI, and she lived on campus her entire life. So she didn't understand that, okay, it's a commuter school. A lot of these kids are probably commuting home or to work after school. They don't have time to stay after school in order to attend these events that we're planning if we want the diverse hires. So maybe we need to facilitate some of the events in the middle of the day. Me being the diversity lead, that is a diversity thought that I was able to add as value. And companies want that, because the diversity of thought is what allows us all to get around the table. Everyone starting with a 4.0 GPA. However, our lifestyles are different. Some of them don't have the luxury of living on campus. Some of them go home and they have to monitor or babysit their younger siblings. Some of them have a second job or multiple jobs that's allowing them to get an education. So the diversity of thought, the DEI initiative, is also aligned with being able to think like a diversity student, and how do we get them? There was only 2 to 3 Black women in my accounting classes. I was in the Smill College of Business School. There's a handful of Black students in there. So once again, how are your babies going to get hired? How are your babies going to get hired? Because if you eliminate that program, you're going to have a HR team that's just going to say, okay, I'm going to go to where this fraternity or this sorority or this particular organization is held. That's predominantly white. Even at Fordham, I went to Fordham for recruiting, and I'm like, okay, the majority of the kids that we're recruiting, majority of them are Asian men. So from a finance standpoint, if we continue like this, 95% of our candidates are going to be Asian men. How are we going to get the women in there? How are we going to get the non-Asian women in there? How are we going to get the non-Asian men in there? Like, you guys will literally vote against your own. I just don't get it. And keep in mind, our white counterparts, more than likely, their father or their mother already worked at JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. So they know when these schools are going to be visited by these companies, because their mommy and daddy is going to be like, oh, baby, the schools are coming, so make sure you're there. And they're going to be there because I just emailed such and such from HR, and she knows about you. I'm going to send your resume, but I want you to wait. Our kids don't even have that. When I speak sometime online, a lot of these kids, they don't even know. They do not know some of these companies. Some of these companies where they could be getting $100,000 in a bonus. Like, come on, man.
Hi guys. So much for effing around and finding out, right? I mean, those who thought because of their skin color, so to say, they will be exempted from this DEI thing are the ones that are actually getting kicked out of their work. Mm. Well, some black people are also getting kicked out. But the way they thought that they will be exempted, and it wouldn't affect them. Mm. Well, they try to tell you, they try to tell you that voting against your own self interest will bring you this, but you didn't listen. So much for effing around and finding out. Well, whatever consequences it brings, I guess you have to deal with it. It's just pathetic that those that didn't F around will also find out with you. And it goes with gathering the thorns and the flowers together and dumping them in one place. It's impossible, practically impossible to separate it. So I guess it is what it is, right? Let me know what you guys think about this DEI and about this job loss, people getting thrown away from their work. Just it's 2025. A lot is about to be found out, guys. A lot is about to be found out. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I can't wait to hear from you. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and turning on your notification. And I'll see you in my next video. And don't forget to stay safe. It's very important. Ciao.